Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear YouTube family. Hi, dear friends. Welcome to my channel with a new heartbreaking story. She is a mother, not burden. This is the heartbreaking story of a village woman who spent her entire life raising her children with love, patience, and silent endurance. From a house once full of laughter to rooms filled with waiting. From being needed to becoming unwanted, her journey reflects a reality many choose not to see. My dear friends, this is a good story. You are all welcome to watch the video till the end and comment your own opinion. So, my dear friends, let's start the story. She is a mother, not burden. No one in the village remembered when Amina became old. It happened so quietly that even she did not notice it at first. One day, she was a young woman with bangles shimmering on her wrists, hair thick and dark, hands quick with work and laughter. And then, somewhere between cooking meals, raising children, burying her husband, and waiting by doorways, her hands grew thin, her back bent, and her reflection became a stranger. But love in her never aged. Amina lived in a narrow clay brick house at the edge of the village. It had two small rooms, a courtyard with a dying neem tree, and walls that carried a choice of voices long gone. Her husband, Rashid, had built the house with his own hands. He died when their youngest son was only 10. After that, Amina became everything. She became the father who earned, the mother who nurtured, the protector who stayed awake when the children were sick, and the silent mourner who cried only when no one could hear. She had three children: Salman, the eldest, serious and ambitious; Farooq, quiet and practical; Zara, her only daughter, soft spoken and kind. Amina raised them with little money but endless patience. She stitched clothes late into the night, worked in other people's homes, skipped meals so her children could eat twice. When neighbors praised her strength, she smiled. When they pitied her, she lowered her eyes. When she was tired, she said nothing, because mothers of her generation did not complain. They endured. Time passed. Salman got a job in the city. Farooq followed a few years later. Zara was married off to a man in another town. The house emptied. At first, the children visited often, then less, then only on festivals, then mostly through phone calls that became shorter each year. Amina kept the house ready anyway. She washed unused bed sheets every week. She cooked too much food. She waited. Every evening, she sat on a small wooden stool near the doorway, pretending to rest, but really listening for footsteps that rarely came. When neighbors asked, "Why don't you go live with your sons?" she always replied gently, "They are busy. I am fine here." But nights were long, and silence was loud. Old age does not arrive with an announcement. It creeps and through knees that ache, eyes that blur, hands that tremble when lifting a pot. Amina began forgetting small things, where she kept her glasses, whether she had eaten, which day it was. She loved it at first. Then came the falls. Once she slipped while washing clothes and lay on the wet ground for hours, too weak to stand, too proud to call for help. A neighbor finally found her. Why did not you shout? The woman scolded. Amina smiled weakly. I did not want to trouble anyone. That sentence had been her whole life. When Salman finally came after many months, he noticed how thin she had become. Her hair was almost completely white now, her voice softer, her hands always cold. You can't live alone anymore, Ammi, he said firmly. Amina nodded, though her heart clenched. Leaving the house felt like leaving her husband's grave, leaving memories, leaving herself. But she agreed, because mothers always do. Salman lived in a modern apartment with his wife Nida and two children. At first, everyone was polite. Nida spoke kindly. The children greeted her respectfully. Salman arranged a bed for her in the corner room. But slowly, things changed. Amina moved too slowly. She forgot to switch off lights. She spilled tea. She asked the same questions again and again. Nida's smile grew thinner. She doesn't listen. She complained. She always in the way. She smells old. Amina heard everything. She pretended not to. She ate less, spoke less, tried to become invisible. Amina stopped sitting in the living room. She stayed in her room, staring at the wall, tracing cracks like maps of her past. She missed her neem tree, her doorway, her quiet evenings. She missed being useful. One night, she overheard an argument. She is your mother, Salman said, frustrated. But I can't manage everything. Nida replied. I didn't sign up to be a nurse. Amina pressed her hand to her mouth to stop the sob. That night, she prayed not to for health, but for invisibility. Salman tried sending her to Farooq. Farooq had his own problems. His wife was blunt. She needs care. We can't give, she said plainly. Then Zara. Zara cried when she saw her mother, held her hands, apologized. But her husband was not willing. I respect her, he said, but we don't have space. So Amina returned to Salman's house. A suitcase passed from one home to another. So did her heart. Each time it broke a little more. One afternoon, Salman sat beside her. There is a place, very clean, nurses, other elders. Amina understood. An old age home. She nodded slowly. If it makes your life easier, she whispered. Salman did not meet her eyes. Amina packed her few belongings. Two old saris, a prayer mat, a faded photograph of Rashid, and the children. No one noticed when she left the apartment. The lift doors closed softly, like a goodbye no one heard. The home was clean, quiet, too quiet. Old people sat in rows, staring into nothing. Some talked to themselves, some cried for children who never came, some waited. Days blurred into each other. Amina tried to smile, tried to be grateful, but every night she whispered her children's names into her pillow just to remember she had been a mother. Her health worsened. She stopped eating. Her hands shook constantly. Her memory faded. Sometimes she mistook nurse for Zara. Sometimes she called Salman's name in her sleep. Doctor said it was age, loneliness, a heart that had given too much. One day, Amina asked for paper. With trembling hands, she wrote, "My children's, I never wanted to be a burden. If I ever failed you, forgive me. I loved you more than my own life. That was never a mistake." She folded the letter carefully. No address, no stamp. She kept it under her pillow. The last night. That night it rained softly. Amina's breathing grew shallow. Her hands surged the air. She whispered, "Rashid, I am coming." The nurse found her at dawn, peaceful still. Her hands were warm for the last time. Salman arrived hours later. He stood beside her body. She looked smaller, lighter, free. A nurse handed him the letter. He read it and broke. For the first time in years, he cried like a child. They buried Amina quietly. The old house in the village still stands. The neem tree finally died. Sometimes neighbors say they hear footsteps near the doorway in the evening. A woman sitting, waiting. Because some mothers never stop waiting, even after death.